Week 4 of the NFL season, pair teams are either looking to take the next step or figure out where they're going. Teams like the Cowboys needed a win to get some momentum back in the young season, even if it was against the Giants. The run defense is still a massive concern, but at least they got something this week. While teams like the Bengals and Titans got their first wins of the season. There are also a lot of questions to be answered about those teams. But getting the first one is what's important right now. The Broncos and Bears get wins to help introduce their rookie quarterbacks to the league. The win was especially good for Denver, who has for the second week in a row now pulled off a massive upset on the road. The 49ers needed a win after two disastrous losses to the Rams and Vikings, and got it against the Patriots. Then there's teams who got wins to keep the momentum going. The Vikings and Chiefs stayed perfect, although it did come at a cost for the Chiefs. The Ravens with a dominant performance from Derrick Henry, and the Lions with a dominant performance from Jared Goff, won big primetime games against playoff contenders. Jane Daniels and the Commanders continue to surprise almost everyone with their start to the year. Speaking of the Washington Commanders, it's time I talk more about them. Following a Week 1 loss to the Bucs, Washington has looked like one of the best teams in the NFL. A lot of this is because of Jane Daniels, who went on the road and upset another LSU Heisman Trophy winner, Joe Burrow, with a simply ridiculous throw.
We've only got 10 guys on the field. They're down in 7. This one is launched from McLaurin. He's got it! Touchdown! Touchdown, Terry McLaurin!
In the first game since 1940 with no punts or turnovers, a quarterback's dream, and the rookie was a part of it. This week against Arizona, Daniels kept it going, setting the completion percentage record for a player's first 4 games. His record-setting start has made the Commanders a contender in their division, and maybe even the NFC. It's very early, but certainly promising for the Washington Commanders and their fans, and Jane Daniels looks like the early favorite for the Rookie of the Year award. In college football, we are witness to one of the greatest games in recent memory. The Georgia Bulldogs and Alabama Crimson Tide have a long history, and they added another chapter this past Saturday. Alabama dominated at the start, with Jalen Milroe making his Heisman case and taking a 20-0 lead. Stunned but not out of it, Georgia slowly found a way back. The Crimson Tide still had a 30-7 lead over the Bulldogs at halftime, but Kirby Smart would make some key adjustments to get Georgia back into the game. Carson Beck and the Bulldogs cut the lead to 18 by the time the fourth quarter began, but Alabama still looked to have the game pretty comfortably in their control. Then Georgia finally found its way back into the game with a 19-point fourth quarter, including a touchdown to take the lead late in the game. 34-33 after a failed 2-point conversion, Alabama was desperate. They had scored just 3 points in the second half and looked to be facing an embarrassing defeat at home. Then on one of the best plays you'll ever see, Ryan Williams, the 17-year-old freshman, took the lead back.
There's a lot of calm and command from Milroe at the start of this game. He's got to have it right now. And they take a downfield shot. And the catch is made. It's Ryan Williams, still spinning free. Touchdown, Alabama, they answer in one play. 75 yards for the 17-year-old. Are you kidding us? Pandemonium in here.
Unbelievable. I think I got a shot to my guy that can make a play to the outside. He's one-on-one. Look at the DB. Never located the football. The receiver, Williams, does. That's why he was able to adjust back. Julian Humphrey never saw him.
The 2-point conversion would put the Crimson Tide up by 7. Then after a good Bulldogs drive, another number 2 would intercept Carson Beck to win the game. A game that will be remembered forever. In the aftermath, Alabama's now the number 1 team in the country, which I think you can argue either way for them or Texas. And Georgia falls behind Ohio State and Tennessee, which is highly questionable in my opinion. I think they should be number 3 because they lost to Alabama on the road by just 1 score, but that's just my opinion. What's even crazier is that Alabama and Tennessee play each other, and Texas and Georgia do as well, in the same week. The SEC title race is far from over. Either is the matchup between Alabama and Georgia, potentially. They may very well see each other again in Atlanta or the college football playoff. Maybe both. Imagine that. Are we back in 1997? I don't see any blockbusters around, so I don't think so. But But if you look at the Heisman race, you might think you are. The similarities between the 1997 Heisman race and the 2024 Heisman race are quite shocking, actually. For starters, there isn't a clear winner. That is part of the reason why ESPN made a whole documentary about the Heisman race in 1997. In 1997, Charles Woodson from Michigan played both offense and defense, mostly defense, and dominated college football. But the Heisman question still remained. In this case, people wondered if Woodson had done enough to be the first defensive player to win the award, especially in a year with so many other talented players. The modern example would be Travis Hunter, who definitely plays more offense than Woodson, but still deals with the same questions of if he has done enough, especially in a less successful Colorado team, despite his obvious talent. History seems to be a positive sign for Hunter, since Woodson ended up winning the award. Then there were two quarterbacks. In 97 was Peyton Manning from Tennessee and Ryan Leaf from Washington State, who were the top two quarterbacks under consideration. Many Tennessee fans still believe to this day that Manning should have won the award. This year it's Cam Ward from Miami and Jalen Milroe from Alabama, who have both been dominating and are increasingly close to leading their teams to the playoffs, and like Manning and Leaf, will be top selections in the NFL draft. Then there's the non-Power 4, or Power 5 back then, candidate. Randy Moss had an incredible season at Marshall, but struggled to gain recognition because he played at a smaller school. The same is true for Boise State running back Ashton Jeanty, who has put up video game-like numbers for the Broncos, but still looks unlikely to win the Heisman because, like Moss, he plays at a smaller school. If Travis Hunter does want to win the Heisman, then he better hope the Buffaloes win some more games, which right now, they are doing. Colorado seems to have figured something out, with 3 wins in a row following an embarrassing loss to Nebraska. The O-line is playing better, and so is the defense. And most importantly, they're starting to play more like a team, instead of relying completely on Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter. The Big 12 race is opening up as well. Utah is struggling offensively without Cam Rising, and they lost to Arizona at home last week. BYU looks good, but their competition hasn't. It's yet to be seen how good they really are. That Oklahoma State and Kansas State haven't looked great either, at least not as good as their preseason expectations. Iowa State has played well, but similar to BYU, it still remains to be seen how good they really are. Colorado has a big game against Kansas State this week, and that will tell us a lot about this team. Has this team really improved since the Nebraska game? Are they actual contenders in the Big 12? The game against the number 20 team in the country in Boulder will answer those questions. Looking ahead to next week, the game to watch in the NFL is the undefeated Minnesota Vikings, led by former Jets quarterback Sam Darnold, playing against Aaron Rodgers and the Jets in London, the first London game of the season. Rodgers and the Jets look to rebound after an embarrassing loss to Denver at home. Then in college, the number 10 team in the country, Michigan, travels to Seattle for a national championship rematch against Washington. As always, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.